Hey, what's up, everyone? CS here. Welcome back to a new episode of Strengths to Wealth, where you discover more about yourself, your strengths, and how to relate to your wealth and performance. Now, many people believe that their weakness is stopping them from achieving the success they deserve in life. Okay, so in this episode, we are going to explore what weakness really is, what you can do about your weakness, and ultimately how you can change your weakness into a strength. Okay, so let's start with what is a weakness. Now, most people believe that weakness is what they are bad at doing, right? But what if you are bad at doing something that you never tried before? You see, whether you're good at something or you're bad at something can be due to things like, how much effort you put into it, how much determination, right? How much skill you have at this and how much experience you have, right? So it's not just talent, right? Instead, a better definition of weakness could be, you know, what are the things that make you feel weak when you're doing them, right? Not what you are bad at doing, but what make you feel weak. You see, why? Because you can be good at doing something, but when you do it, you feel no energy, you feel no motivation, and you don't ever want to do it again. What do you call this? You call this a weakness, right? You don't call it a strength. You call it a weakness. So most people already got it wrong, which is why they're so confused with their careers and what they should do to make more money. They ask things like, if I'm good at what I do, then I should like what I do more, right? But they never do, which is why, things like stress, burnout, and Monday blues are so common nowadays. Because a lot of people do the things that they're good at, but not necessarily the things that make them feel strong, right? There are things that make them feel weak. So this is why people can get stuck in a cycle where they keep doing things that they are getting more and more experience and better at, but it keeps sucking more and more energy and motivation out of them until, like a zombie, they work and work till there's nothing left, right? No joy in what they do, no motivation to improve, and no life, basically, right? And this is where they wonder where they went wrong. How come, everyone else seems to feel so happy, but they don't. They don't feel the happiness themselves, right? And to add to the confusion, most people don't realize that when they think about weakness, they're actually thinking about three different types of weakness, not just one. Okay? There's the talent weakness that we just explored, which is, oh, I'm not good at doing this. Okay? There's the behavior type of weakness where you say, hey, I'm lazy and I'm unmotivated, right? It's all about the personality and behavior. And there's the mindset type of weakness, which is you say, hey, I better just give up, or I'm never going to be good enough for this. Now the problem is when we encounter all three types of weakness, our first solution is always the same. Right? We will say things like, hey, I should try harder. I should be more determined. I should use my willpower to break through this. Right? And very often, when using more willpower doesn't work, right? Then people will lapse into behavior like, oh, they blame themselves. Hey, how come, I never try hard enough? Or they play the victim and they push the blame to others. And they say things like, no, it's not my fault because maybe the market is not good, maybe my boss is not good, maybe the company is not good or whatever. Or they just give up. So instead of that, what if you treat all three types of weakness differently. So the first type of weakness, which is the talent weakness, where you say, hey, I'm not good at doing this. Okay, can you ask yourself, do I need to be good at this? Because if you don't enjoy what you're doing, then why do more of it? Right? And if it's because you need it for your job or you need it for your business, then do you need to be the one doing this when you don't like it and you do it poorly? Because get this, okay, you can be good at something that you like to do, but maybe right now you're not experienced in it. You can get good at something if you like to do it. But if you want to get good at something that you don't like and you do poorly, that takes a lot more motivation and willpower. And you have to realize that you always have less results than someone who is talented at doing it. And this is not just something that I say. This is actually proven in neuroscience, where experiments have been conducted that show that certain areas of our brains light up when we perform certain tasks. And everyone is most capable at different areas of their brain, right? Because that is where they have the densest clusters of neurons. So someone who is talented at doing something, they will have more neurons and they will have more neural pathways in that section of their brain that is optimized for these activities. And this allows them to learn faster and perform much better in a shorter period of time than other people. And the opposite is also true. So if you're not talented and you have no love for doing this thing, no matter how hard you force yourself, you're not going to get as much result as someone who is more talented and love to do it. So instead of constantly feeling like, oh, I need to do this, right? What if the secret is actually to understand what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses, and figure out how to do more of your strengths so that you can let go of more of your weakness, right? So, and when your role in your job and your business no longer needs you to do the things that you're weak at, then are your weaknesses still relevant to you? Okay? Which brings us to the second type of weakness, which is the behavior type of weakness. So this is the weakness that we say we have when, we are lazy, we are unmotivated, we are careless, we are forgetful. So the question to ask whenever, you feel like, oh, I feel like I have a weakness because I'm lazy or unmotivated or careless or forgetful or some other character trait. The question to ask is this your natural personality? That means, are you like this ever since you're young? Or, is this a temporary state because maybe you're burnt out, maybe you're tired, you're exhausted or whatever, right? So if it's just a temporary state like burnout, then the key is to identify what's causing the burnout and to fix that, isn't it? Right? And usually burnout is due to things like you're doing something that you're bad at and you don't have much motivation to do it, but you keep forcing yourself to do it. Right? Usually that's where burnout comes from. But if it's a natural personality trait that ever since young you're like this, then can you ask, is there a role or work I can do where this personality trait won't matter as much? Like, for example, if you are a lawyer, let's say if you are in the legal profession and you're a lawyer in a courtroom, right? Having attention to details, and remembering past facts and precedents are critically important because you need to remember this when you do all this cross-examination. But as a law professor or as a researcher, it's less important, right? Because you can look it up whenever you forget, whereas you can't necessarily do that in a courtroom. So both are in the legal profession, but one role has a more demanding requirement on certain personality traits than others, right? So you can figure it out in your particular industry, in your business, in your job, right? What is a role that emphasizes less on the particular the traits that you're bad at? Because unfortunately, research has also shown that personality traits do not change over time. So that means if you are someone who's, not as careful as others ever since you're young, you will be even more careless when you're older. It's not going to get better, it's going to get worse. Right? So you can spend a lot more time to learn techniques, to do things like strengthen your memory and organize yourself, but you're never going to be as good as other people who are naturally, more careful. So sometimes we just have to acknowledge this, and the key to success is not to force yourself to keep improving in these personality traits, which are fixed, but to manage around them, right? And try your best to make them irrelevant by focusing more on your strengths, right? Which brings us to the last type of weakness, which is mindset weakness. So what kind of weakness is mindset weakness, right? Mindset weakness is weakness we feel when, whenever we give up at doing something, right? Or whenever we say to ourselves, I'm never going to be good enough for this. Or when we blame others, right? When we don't do things well, but instead of examining ourselves, we blame others. And unlike the first two type of weakness, mindset is actually something that can be strengthened by anyone. So in this case, it's actually possible to turn a weakness in a mindset into a strength. And usually when people say, how can you turn weakness into strength? This is what they're talking about, right? Not turning your personality traits from where you're weak to where you're strong. That's impossible. But it's possible to turn mindset weakness into strength. And the way to do it is through going through repeated challenges and choosing not to give up. And the problem is not that, it's not that people don't know how to do it. The problem is very often people do not recognize what can be changed and what cannot, no matter how hard you try, right? Your natural talent and your personality traits cannot be changed, right? These are something that's given to you at birth, no matter how hard you try at it. But your roles and responsibility in your job, in your business, what tasks you want to do, what tasks you want to let go, what strengths you want to focus on, what weaknesses you want to let go, this can be changed. So when you find yourself trying to change yourself into someone you're not, and you keep trying, sooner or later you will have to give up, and then you will feel like it's never going to work out, right? Because you are trying to change your own personality traits and your own natural talent. However, if you're trying to change your job, you're trying to change your businesses, you're trying to change yourself by following more of your strength and letting go more of your weaknesses, then just choose to believe in yourself, right? And don't give up. Because mindset and willpower can be strengthened, right? All you need to do is choose to keep going and try different approaches again and again and again, even after you made a mistake or even after you gave up before, right? So do this enough times, and this is when your weakness in your mindset will turn into your strength. So you turn from someone who say who can give up quite easily, or don't go far enough, through repeated challenges, right? You will become someone who can stretch a lot further and do a lot more things to reach your goal. Make sense? Okay, so there you have it. These are the 3 different type of weakness and how you can turn them into a strength. What do you think? Do you think this makes sense? Don't make sense? I'd love to hear more about your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, if you enjoy content like this, don't forget to hit like and subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out on future videos. I typically do at least 3 to 5 of these videos per week. So if that's your thing, remember to subscribe. As always, this is CS. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.